There's always been this one question I never got answered, and I've always wanted to know this since I became a NASCAR fan. Something that's just always been on the tip of my tongue. Something that's always been at the back of my head. Something I wanted answered for long. And I just want to go ahead and ask you guys. And it's a very, very serious NASCAR question. Here we go. Why does Richmond have two dates again? Hey guys, NASCAR Mobile 48 back again, and welcome back to another episode of NRR. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the 2021 Federated Auto Parts 400 from Richmond Raceway. It is 9/11, 20 years ago since the huge terrorist attack on America back in 2001. Definitely a still tragedy to this day, and we just honor and remember those that we have tragically lost on that day. A very horrific day indeed, the day that America came together. And we also had a race today. Martrix Jr. gets the win today at Richmond Raceway, his third win at Richmond in the last 3 years, so that's pretty cool. And also, once again guys, going to be looking at the top 10. We're also going to be rating the race. We're going to be looking at the biggest story of the race if there was one. Also going to be looking at the playoff standings and talking about drivers who had a good and bad race. And also just want to say props to NASCAR with that beautiful intro going into this race, with 9/11 and stuff. They had the fire truck on track. They also had the police cars on the track with the cars and people waving American flags. Definitely a huge, powerful moment right there. So great moment right there that NASCAR did. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive on into this episode. Finishing it first was Martrix Jr. Martrix Jr. gets the win at Richmond Raceway. That's his third win in the last 5 races at Richmond. His 6th win on a short track. His 31st career win, puts him 28th on the all-time wins list. 4th win of the year. He's now advanced into the round of 12. And here's something that's weird. Dale Jr. wins after 9/11 20 years ago, but then 20 years later, another junior, Martrix Jr., wins on 9/11. So that's a bit weird, bit of a coincidence, but still pretty cool and also kind of spooky. Anyway, also Bass Pro Shops had a day, 2 wins in one day. I mean, that's awesome. With Noah Gragson in the Xfinity Series race earlier today, and now Martrix Jr. That's very cool. But Truex definitely had a big comeback because he jumped the restart on the first lap and had a black flag. But once that happened, I kind of figured, Truex, he could easily come back from that because that's a 1 lap. That happened on the first lap, and it's a 400 lap race, so he definitely did come back for that and had to hold off Denny Hamlin because Hamlin was closing in quickly, but Truex was able to hold on and get the win. Finishing second was Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, once again, just cannot get it done at his home track. Of course, we all know he lost the first Richmond race to Alex Bowman, and now he loses another one to his teammate as Hamlin. He won both stages. He was having a great race. He was catching Martrix Jr. in the closing laps, and he had some good battles with Truex, of course, in stage 2, and in stage 1 had a great battle with Chase Elliott. They were just all going at it and stuff, but Hamlin definitely looked like the top dog of the race, but just could not get it done after winning last week at Darlington. Tried to go 2 for 2 because Noah Gragson did, but Hamlin could not. So still 2 straight top 2 finishes for the 11 team and stuff. It's still a great race for the 11 team as they're also advanced into the round of 12 from their win last week. So let's just see how they can do at Bristol. Finishing in third was Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell, I already knew he was going to have a nice, solid day. I'm not sure of a top 5 and stuff, but definitely had a great day. This is his first top 5 finish since New Hampshire when he finished second to Eric Almirola, but definitely a great day for Christopher Bell because he's good at Richmond. He finished 4th here earlier this year, now finishes 3rd, his best finish at Richmond in the Cup Series to date, and also he has 3 wins in the Xfinity Series at Richmond, so of course you can't count out Christopher Bell when it comes to Richmond. Heck, neither the JGR guys, because that stat I saw earlier, 16 wins here in total, the most wins by any NASCAR team at this racetrack, so definitely a cool one right there. So Christopher Bell gets a nice solid 3rd place finish. This definitely makes up for that not so good finish at Darlington last week, which was 20th. So Bell definitely looks safe for now, but let's see how he can do going into Bristol. Finishing fourth was Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, him and Denny Hamlin were going at it in stage 2, and he was having such a great day. But then in stage 2, he ran over the jack, a costly pit stop for the 19. They just could not have that. But then later in the race, he took a huge dive bomb on William Byron, and he got the free pass, was able to get back on the lead lap starting in stage 3. So that's when Chase Elliott started to begin his comeback, and then he marched back up into the top 5, and then was able to get a nice solid 4th place finish. So great day for Chase Elliott in the 19. They definitely needed that after having that terrible wreck at Darlington last week, and that nice cool paint scheme that was designed by a child that had cancer and stuff. So definitely sucked right there. But Chase Elliott makes it up with a nice solid top 5 finish. I feel like he's pretty safe going into Bristol, so I think he should make it into the next round A-okay. But that's different because earlier this year, Chase Elliott finished 12th in this race, now gets 4th. So definitely a great rise for Chase Elliott and a great comeback for the 9 team. And rounding out the top 5 and 5th was Joey Logano. Nothing really to say about Joey Logano. Just had a nice solid run. He was definitely a top 10 car all day. 2 straight top 10 finishes. Finished 8th at Darlington. Gets 5th today. So a very good run for them. In fact, Team Penske, in my opinion, had a very great run. Because earlier in the race, I believe after stage 1, all 3 of their cars finished in the top 7 in stage 1. So that showed that Team Penske was starting to make a comeback. Definitely after having, bad weeks coming into the playoffs, but now they're starting to rebound, especially Joey Logano. So watch out for Joey Logano. He is down, but he is not out. But definitely a great shot of momentum for the 22 team, and we'll see what they can do going into Bristol. Finishing 6th was Kyle Larson. Nothing really to say about Kyle Larson except the fact that he has finally advanced into the round of 12 on points. That just shows how damn good he is. And also another fun fact, the last 7 races, Kyle Larson has finished in the top 10. 6 of the last 7 races, all but the Coke Zero Sugar 400. Of course, that's Daytona. He finished like 20th. So still, great run by Kyle Larson in the 5 team. I just want to say, watch out for him at Bristol because Martinsville and Richmond aren't really his cup of tea and stuff. But Bristol, that's where it's at for Kyle Larson. Finishing 7th was Ross Chastain. Another great run for the 42 team. Ross Chastain just continues to impress. 2 straight top 10 finishes, gets 3rd at Darlington, gets 7th here tonight at Richmond. He's just trying to give CGR a great, a final goodbye, a great goodbye, just trying to end it off on a high note because that's what he's doing right now. Because this reminds me of Austin Dillon at the beginning of the playoffs where he did great at Darlington and Richmond, but then started to fall back. So hopefully the same doesn't happen to Ross Chastain, but Chastain right now doing really great in the postseason, knowing that he's not in the playoffs because he's, 2nd week in a row he's the highest finishing non-playoff driver. So great momentum for Ross Chastain, the 42 team. Trackhouse, they picked themselves a great guy. And watch out for Bristol, because Chastain, he's pretty good at Bristol. He'll use the bumper. Don't you worry about that. Finishing in 8th was Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick was just like Joe Logano, not really a factor in this race, just another strong top 10 driver. So Harvick had a nice clean race, 2nd straight top 10 finish for him. No problems for the 4 team. Of course they had that issue in the Southern 500, and they still got 5th, but a nice solid 8th place finish for Kevin Harvick, as I see him already being locked into the round of 12. Finishing in 9th was Kyle Busch. What a rough day for Kyle Busch and the 18 team. They had a pit road penalty early in stage 1 with equipment interference that definitely set them back. But then they started to climb their way up into the field because I believe in stage 3 they were able to go ahead and take the lead. And then later, when green flag pit stops happened, Kyle Busch had a penalty for too fast entering, so that was definitely on him. So really bad day for him. But it wasn't a bit too harsh because there were so many drivers a lap down that Kyle Busch was able to, just get himself back into the top 10 with a 9th place finish, but definitely deserved better than that, as his 3 JGR teammates finished 1, 2, 3, but he finishes 9. So not really a great day for Kyle Busch if you really think about it, instead of after having a rough day at Darlington last week. But we'll see what he can do at Bristol because he finished 2nd a year ago. And rounding out the top 10 and 10th was Ryan Blaney. In the last 5 races, Blaney has finished in the top 10 in 4 of the last 5 races, so that's good for him. They just had a nice solid race, nothing too bad, nothing too good, so they just got a nice solid 10th place finish. Definitely better than Darlington where they finished 22nd, so definitely an improvement for the 12 team, as we'll see what they can do heading into Bristol because that is their worst nightmare, Bristol. And now let's rate this race. If I had to rate this race out of 10, it's going to be hard to decide because, like I said in the title, or at the beginning at the intro, that I just asked, why does Richmond have 2 dates and stuff? Because Richmond is definitely the worst short track NASCAR has currently right now. And I freaking put New Hampshire over Richmond because New Hampshire is a really great track and stuff. And even Dover and stuff, and Martinsville and Bristol, of course, but Richmond, I just don't like it. Heck, I bet Auto Club is a better short track, and Auto Club hasn't been turned into a short track yet. But still, this race was not really that good. I mean, if I had to say, I thought this was an average race, so if I had to say an average, I have to give it like a 5.5 out of 10. It was a decent race. Nothing really happened, nothing significant, but Richmond is Richmond, and that's why it's like the third best short track. That's what it's known for. So I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10. So let me know what you guys would give in the comment section below. And also let me know, do you guys believe that Richmond should continue to have 2 dates? So the biggest story of the race to talk about were the playoff struggles that we continue to see today. We had a ton, but it wasn't as bad as it was as last week. So let's go ahead and talk about them. So one of the issues that one of the playoff drivers suffered today was Mark Truex Jr., where he jumped the start of the race from Denny Hamlin, who was, of course, the lead car, the control car, and so Truex was penalized with a black flag on the first lap and had to make a drive-through penalty and stuff, and that definitely put him behind the 8 ball, but that was only on the first lap. Out of 400 laps at Richmond, is a pretty long race, so Truex was able to easily overcome from that mistake and got the win. So I know it wasn't a big issue and stuff, but still you cannot make those mistakes, especially at critical races like the championship race. So hopefully Truex does not do that again. Another driver with a bad day was Kurt Busch. The issue was like he had a tire issue or it was a brake issue, and he hit the driver's side pretty hard. So good thing he was okay, but definitely put Kurt Busch behind the 8 ball right there, because now he is tied on the cut line with Alex Bowman for that final spot, but Kurt Busch has the advantage. So definitely a huge situation for Kurt Busch going into Bristol. We already talked about Chase Elliott. He ran over the jack. Another mistake on pit road. So Chase Elliott cannot have that issue with his pit crew. They just got to learn from that. But it was kind of a mistake on Chase Elliott's part. But can't really say. I haven't really seen like the full race or the replays and stuff. So I need to check again. But definitely a huge costly mistake for Chase Elliott, because he could have won this race, because he was definitely a winning competitor right there. Michael McDowell had so many speeding penalties. He had 2 speeding penalties, especially like late in the race, and he did take some damage. So another huge situation for Michael McDowell. We already knew, especially after Darlington, even before Darlington, he's in a huge must-win situation going into Bristol. I feel like he'll do better at Bristol, but will he win? I don't think so. Eric Almirola, he was running really well early in the race, but then late in the race on that final green flag pit stop, he had a loose wheel, had to come back in again, put him a lap down. So huge situation right there for Eric Almirola. Could have had a much better race than that before, that situation happened. But still, a solid race for Eric Almirola, but definitely a mistake right there from his pit crew that cannot be replicated again. And then finally, another playoff driver who struggled was Kyle Busch, who had 2 pit road penalties. One of them was from his crew, where they had trouble with the equipment, I believe. And then finally, Kyle Busch ended the night off with a speeding penalty. He did round back to get a nice solid top 10 finish, which is good, but not good for Kyle Busch, especially in the playoffs right now, as he's still above the cut line, but definitely a huge situation right there where the mistakes like that cannot be replicated, like I said before. So here's the driver who I thought had a good day. This counts like other than the other drivers that we've already talked about. But Austin Dillon actually had a really solid day. Got an 11th place finish. A definitely good finish for Austin Dillon, the 3 team. They were running in the top 10 pretty well. They were definitely like a 9th, 10th place car, but they got home 11th. So still a nice solid run for the 3 team, knowing how they're like still running pretty competitive, even though they did not make the playoffs. And now here are the drivers who I thought had a bad race, starting off with Bubba Wallace. Of course, he had, I think, a tire or a brake issue, hit the wall pretty hard, and pretty much ended his day. Alex Bowman, he did finish 12th, but he did win here early this season, so not really good for Alex Bowman, as he is now below the cut line, -0 over Kurt Busch. or below Kurt Busch. And then you have William Byron, who finished 19th. Not a good run for them. This is like a repeat of last year, so they are in a must-win situation, just like Michael McDowell headed into Bristol. Brad Keselowski, he won this race a year ago, and he did get a 13th place finish, but he didn't do as good as his teammates, and still a bit of a struggle for the 2 team. They may not get eliminated, but they're definitely struggling. And then finally, Tyler Reddick finished 15th. Not a great finish for the A team. They have to do better, and they are below the cut line, not too far from Alex Bowman. They could still point their way in, but it's going to be pretty hard because it's Bristol, baby. So those are the drivers who I thought had a bad race. So here are the playoff standings headed into Bristol, the final race of the round of 16. Hamlin and Truex are locked in with a win. Kyle Larson is advanced with points. Then you have Joey Logano plus 40, Blaney plus 28, Harvick plus 25, Elliott plus 19, Bell plus 17, Keselowski plus 13, Kyle Busch plus 8, Almirola plus 3, Kurt Busch is plus 0, then below the cut line, Bowman is minus 0, Reddick is minus 5, Byron is minus 18, and then McDowell's at the end, minus 38. So if I had to say who's truly advanced, I feel like Joey Logano is completely safe. Blaney is pretty safe, so really it's hard to decide, but you know that these 2 drivers back here in a must-win situation. Reddick and Bowman could still point their way in, but it's all for nothing in this final race of the round of 16. And that will do it. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I just made a video for my gaming channel on Friday, so go check that one out. Link to my gaming channel will be in the description. Also follow me on Instagram, link will be in the description. And guys, come on, subscribe. A few % of you are not subscribed, so guys, please subscribe, totally free. Share with your friends this video. I love making these NASCAR review videos for you guys. And we'll also have our round of 12 predictions up later this week, or actually next week after the Bristol race, so watch out for that. But anyway, that's gonna do it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your night. This is NASCAR Mobile 48. Peace out.